So do you think that we've glorified misconduct?
I think glorified is a very docile term you're using. We've rewarded it. My heart breaks when I go to a school function and I see kids who are in the 4th and 5th standard doing an item number.
I don't know when it'll change, whether it'll change or not, whether what I'm saying, is it blasphemy or not?
I'm sure you're not a very popular guy. Somebody is ready to hang you for your opinion. But you're not right. You're right and a half. For me, cinema is poetry in motion, is a modern day art form. It has a huge commercial responsibility to it.
What's your thought on AI?
Most fascinating and most terrifying at the same time. You are now more limited by your imagination.
Is it just a coincidence that whenever you are only the producer, particularly those films didn't do well?
Maybe the answer is I'm not a good producer.
Thank you very much for coming on Duologue, Rakeysh.
Thanks for having me over.
No, it's a pleasure. It's an honor. Why this extra Y in Rakeysh, in your name?
On the last day of the shooting of Ux, my first film, my father passed away.
So sad to know.
So I added his name Omprakash to Rakeysh Omprakash Mehra. And my younger sister, she believes in numerology. And she said it will be inauspicious to put dad's name. The numbers are not adding up. Now, my younger sister is also the grandmother of the family. So we have to always listen to her. And with no questions asked. So I said, please go and add any alphabet and make a numbers added. So without changing the pronunciation, she, I think, very intelligently used the Y.
Okay. Oh, so that's why the Y.
That's why the Y.
Good. So today in 2023, we are meeting. It's just a poetic coincidence that the movie that you made, which brought you to limelight, Rang De Basanti, 17 years back. Now, after 17 years, it just about few days back, Indian Air Force discontinued with MiG-21. That was the crux of the story that you told so nicely some 17 years back. Do you feel vindicated?
Not really. I'm from the Air Force School in Delhi, Balbhat Air Force School. And every day when we entered the school gates, there was a MiG-21 plane there. And we would play around it, be punished under it, have lunch under it. It became a part of a subconscious. And when the MiG started going down, and that also not in war, in practice
sessions, yes.
And we started using young warriors. The CAG at that point of time, the Auditor General of the country, he did mention that there's a 2,000 crore corruption in the parts, in the trigger mechanism. Soviet Union had broken up. USSR was no more. It had become many countries. And MiGs were coming from there. So there was a sense of anger. There was a sense of responsibility. There was a sense of frustration. I had to tell that story. So we weaved a story around it.
So have you been a rebel with a cause? Is that what your film's all about?
Baruda, these are all labels as far as I'm concerned. It's what you feel very strongly about. Those are the stories to tell. And there is so much to feel about you in our country, which is such an amazing country, such a beautiful country, amazing people, amazing food. And it's Actually, not just a country, it's a subcontinent between East and West and North and South and Central and the Himalayas. It is absolutely wonderful. So I try and weave my stories around that.
Right. And you started in a completely different field, the field that I possibly could relate more with. You started as in sales and marketing, and from there, advertising world, and from advertising, then you moved into filmmaking. So you're destined for it. Did you grow up thinking that you'll make films one day?
No, to be honest, never. From a middle class family, in fact, a lower middle class family. And you rightly said so. My first job was selling vacuum cleaners, door to door salesman, knocking the doors down.
But you have to understand that is a revolutionary way of selling products. That Eureka Forbes vacuum cleaners,
Absolutely.
they never advertised, or they only advertised in those days. I still remember that somebody would come, a friend would come at your doorstep and explain. They never advertised the product.
Yeah, absolutely. And I loved my stint over there. And within the fourth month, we had this whole thing of you could add your sales and earn the commission. You won't believe what my salary check at that point of time was.
Oh,
And it was close to 39,000 rupees.
That is a hell lot of
I
money
think
in those
I
years.
created a national record. So once I had done that and I'd been there, and there was always a calling to be on your own. So I started with a friend of mine, started a garment fabrication unit for exporters. And, we would make garments for brands like Gap and Giorgio Armani and Banana Republic and all these. But advertising always called me for some reason. In my ninth standard, there was an advertising professional who came to the school and he was giving a professional lecture to all of us. In those days? Yeah. And he took out a pen and he said, I want to sell this pen. Come up with a slogan, come up with an idea. So everyone came up with things, and I heard myself saying, you can write with this the things you really want to say. And he said, kiddo, I think you have a future in advertising. And it's impressionist. These things stay with you. So during college, I used to do summer jobs in advertising. It stayed with me, and once I got the opportunity, I left garment fabrication and moved into advertising. Yeah. So in advertising, one of the first ones, Yezdi Mazda, possibly you had done an advertising on Hero CD 100, and then the biggest one is BPL Sanyo. Oh yes, I was very fortunate in the sense the seniors I had in the advertising industry and the fraternity. They were very caring. They were very teaching. In my first agency, we started advertising for Swaraj Mazda. They had just come up with the LCVs. The Indian economy had just opened up. So there were all these foreign brands and Japanese brands coming in. The management at Mazda liked me, so they sent me to Japan for a short stint to understand the discipline of what goes behind. And so I worked for a month in Hakahudu in the RX-7 Savannah factory, and then Hiroshima in a petrol pump in Tokyo in a dealership, and then Dentsu Advertising. So got the entire spectrum. Any stark difference that you've seen in those days, like the way we think and operate and live in our society compared to the Japanese did? I think it's the discipline and work truly was God. I was staying in a hotel while in Tokyo and Imperial, and I still remember clearly I was on the 17th floor and I would look down from the window. So the offices, they would start at 9 o'clock. At 8:45, when I looked down from the window, I could see thousands of people running and jogging with their briefcases and ties. They didn't want to be 1 minute late. And you would always reach your office 5 minutes before time. You would do a bit of exercise with everybody, like 5 minutes of breathing, 10 minutes of stretching, and get down to work. It was fascinating to visit the factories I was given a stopwatch and told to at every 17 seconds press go and stop. 0, 17 seconds stop, one RX and 7 Savannah rolled out. 0, 17 second, one more rolled out. Car would roll out to the 17th second. And once it rolls out, the ship is in waiting. So everybody had their own personal dockyards. So it's not going on trucks, then going to another shipyard and going out to the world to be sold. So their planning, the systematic processes were incredible. And I think that's why they ruled the world and created brands that changed the world.
Absolutely. The two things come to my mind immediately as you spoke. One is here also, people are always scrambling and in great hurry. But I tend to see that everybody is in hurry, but nobody is on time in India, contrary to in Japan, where everybody used to be before time. The other thing, which is very close to my heart, I believe that planning and adherence to SOP, that is something we needed to learn. We still need to learn. Anyway, so this is how advertising started. But you had a tryst with Mr. Bachchan always. That BPL Sanyo ad, I think the ad started saying, he's saying that आपने मुझे टीवी पर देखे हैरान होंगे. Something like that he said. That's the beginning line of the ad.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough, it was the first time he was going to endorse a brand for BPL Sanyo. And the responsibility to direct them was entrusted on me.
How did that happen? You were the chosen one to direct Mr. Bachchan for his first endorsement, for his first appearance on the small screen.
I must say it is the agency which trusted me. It was Abhinav Dhar, was the creative
Dharan
director
Hun.
of Dharan Hun.
Wow.
And he had given, I had got my first break as a director for Hero Cycles from HTA. And then Abhinav trusted me with those. And we went and met Mr. Bachchan, and it was a life-changing moment. There was a paradigm shift in the way I was destined to go forward. We met on Friday, and the next meeting was on Monday. And I was very nervous on Saturday. On Monday, I told him, Amitji, half of me is thrilled with the idea of directing you. For the first time, you're going to appear on the TV. And half of me is saying, please don't do it.
Don't do this. Don't come on
Just
small.
don't do
larger
it.
than life, from a larger than life appearance,
Absolutely.
you come to
Yeah.
a small screen in your
And
drawing room.
He laughed at that. I said, I've always seen you 60 feet tall. You always controlled us. And now you'll be 6 inches tall, and I'll have the remote in my hand.
Brilliant way.
And he laughed and he said, Rakeysh, this is the future you see. And the visionary of sorts. Yeah.
So then moving into Ux, which was your first movie. So the script, story, ideas, roping in Mr. Bachchan, organizing the fund. That I always feel that the first one is the toughest one. Even when a salesperson joins, when a new product proposition comes into the market, I always feel the first hurdle is the biggest hurdle. Once you cross that hurdle, then the gate opens up. So how was that experience of that first movie that you had?
It's like a blur, to be very honest. I don't know how tough it was or how easy it was. I just knew that I had to tell the story, and Amiji was supporting it. And then I got a stellar cast with Manoj Bajpayee, Nandita Das, and Ravina Tandon, K.K. Rana, along with Mr. Bachchan. I think once you want to do something and the universe conspires. With me, that's always been the case. Is you go out, you want to try a new idea, and you'll find like-minded people will come together and help you and cushion you and take you forward. But you have to do it. You can't think about it. You can't analyze it. I also feel you can't overanalyze uh, the result of a process, because that then the fear sets in. If you start analyzing the fruits, if the process is the fruit, then it's amazing.
I put it in a slightly different way. As I consider myself as someone who generates commerce out of creativity. I don't call myself that I'm very creative. I won't be able to write a script, but I have to convert them into commerce. And I believe, unfortunately or fortunately, your success is often measured by the amount of commerce you make out of it. That's the reality of life. So, in your field, I would tend to think that if I am working, as you know, that we are into production now, and hopefully we will become as big as we are in news domain. In news, we are the largest news television news
Of
network
course.
now, and hopefully we'll make it big there. But I believe that people like you should be left without the thought or the apprehension about what's going to transpire out of creativity. Because if you keep an eye on the outcome, and if you worry about the outcome, and if you have a success factor guiding you in your thought process, then you won't be thinking independently. You won't be free flowing in your thought. So somebody else will have to possibly give input in terms of that, whether it will work or not. Or once you've created the product, somebody else will have to figure out that how to make it work. That's what my perspective is.
Oh, well, no, absolutely. And I agree with you. And what uh, the team has done at your news channel is for all of us to see. It's not a thought, it's not
Thank you.
something that's going to happen in the future. You just created magic, and you created magic in a very limited time.
That's right.
People might say that, but I will say there's a lifetime behind that. Also
Yes.
put it.
Yes. Not
And
many lifetimes.
many lifetimes.
In our thing, it's you are as good as the team. So each team
Yeah.
member had a lifetime.
And incredible. So, what follows first? Does commerce follow first, or the idea follows first? I think the consumer does not know what they want. You have to give them the gift of what they didn't even know existed. I didn't know I wanted a phone which did not have a wire and I could carry it in my pocket. I did not know I wanted a phone which could store music and I could put headphones, and now it became my Walkman. I did not know I wanted a phone which was a camera, and now my phone is my banking device. I did not know that. Not a single marketing agency in the world, or not a single consumer forum or analysis or SWOT analysis had ever given this thing the gap that a phone needs a camera. It was an idea. And today we can't do without it.
Very interesting, Rakesh. That also works in communication. You know, like you don't know. Many often you leave it to the consumers, completely up to the consumers how they would react to a piece of communication. But I personally believe that you can roll the pitch and prepare a consumer, or prepare the person that you're going to communicate to about what you're going to say. If you prepare them, then possibly you have a better chance of making them react the way you want them to react. So that is an interesting thing that I try and follow. But how is it possible in your trade? I don't know.
But it's fascinating to hear this from you, that and that you are already going a step further in preparing the demand for it.
That's right. Mindset.
Yeah, and those are your clearly your instincts. And I am absolutely sure that it's when you're doing it, you're okay to fail. You might not accept failure, but you know it's a stepping stone to making a change.
Absolutely. The way I look at it, I don't know whether that'll be bordering the line of confidence or arrogance, is that when I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option. I am okay to take intermittent failures, intermittent steps which won't go right. So I ascribe that to the time taken to succeed, right? So I say the whether is not the question. The result is not questionable. We've set out to get that, we'll get it.
Mhm.
It might get postponed by 3 months, 6 months.
Mhm.
When is the question, whether not is not the question. So that gives me a bit of a confidence. And in the back of my mind, I always carry that failure is not an option. So I would get there, no matter what.
Interesting. I think what I take away from what you just said and what I'll take back to Bombay from Delhi and from this lovely conversation I'm having with you is intermittent failure. That's something I've learned today. And I get you. I get you there. So when I say permission to fail, it is intermittent. It doesn't mean if you fail and you fail again doing the same mistake, doing the same thing, then there is something seriously wrong with you.
So I put it in a different way. I put it that repetition of a mistake possibly is a crime to yourself or to anyone. And finally, I believe that I only fail when I quit.
That's another one. Intermittent failure and never quit.
Never quit.
Because there will always be another route.
There will always be.
Always be. There's impossible to believe that there won't be a route. Because if that were the case, man would have never reached the moon.
That's right.
We could have never discovered Antarctica.
I agree.
Such beautiful things that we know today about space and the cosmos would have never happened. Poetry wouldn't have happened. You don't write poetry to say people will love it. You're expressing a thought.
Expressing the thought.
The poetry of Rumi, to me, is more. I wasn't present in the times when he was there and the conflicts of that time. I can't even begin to imagine what the world was like. But they're so relevant today.
Right.
So it's just timeless.
Rakeysh, the tool that you have, if I call it a tool, cinema, the effect of cinema in public life is, according to me, is extremely significant. Often it is said that cinema reflects the society, but cinema guides the society also. So there, I'll give you an example in your case, Rang De Basanti. I think it was released in 2006 in January. That Candlelight March, I think that is an idea that you have given to our country. And immediately after that, I think Jessica Lal murder case verdict was announced, and people did the same candle march, I think in the month of February.
That's right.
To protest against that verdict. So in a way, you've given a tool or an ammunition to common people that how they can express their dissatisfaction and their protest in a silent manner. So that is the power of cinema that I see. One of the examples.
Yeah. It's immense. It's absolutely immense. My heart breaks when I go to a school function and I see kids who are in the 4th and 5th standard doing an item number on stage. It does have effect. Similarly, like how the candlelit protest at India Gate and Rang De Basanti, it became like a symbol of protest across the country. You flip the coin. There's good and evil to the same coin. They're both like two parts of the same coin. And I think for me, cinema is poetry in motion. Is there some kind of lyricism in it? It is a modern day art form. It has a huge commercial responsibility to it because you're not just making it for yourself. Then you can be a fine art painter like Van Gogh, sit in the attic and make 300 paintings in 300 days and go crazy about them. And he didn't know they're going to sell for billions and billions later on. And he didn't make it for that. But it is very important that the cross section of art and commerce happens. Now it has become more important that entertainment and technology, the line should blur, because technology is changing by the hour. And if we don't embrace it, we don't recognize it, uh, it's going to destroy art.
Definitely, that is a topic that I would like to bring to this discussion. But coming back to this, that potential of soft power. Uh, so I have a few thoughts on this. I think we've recently seen this web series called Jubilee. We've again got to know that how both America and USSR were trying to control Hindi film industry so that they can drive their own narrative, which all of us knew, but it just surfaced once again. And then I see that Indian films had often glorified misconduct. For instance, if you're a factory worker or if you're a rogue or so called rogue in the society, and you're going after a girl, you're teasing a girl with a song or something, and then the girl is eventually, she's a heroine and she's falling for you. Now, that somewhere, I think, got inculcated in the society's thought that a lot of people who might not be that privileged or educated or have a clarity of mind, they would have thought that I'm teasing this girl. She's supposed to fall for me. But here I'm getting rejected. I'm not being accepted. So, cinema is very real in people's mind. They aspire to be so. So, do you think that we've glorified misconduct? I don't see that quite often in even a very ordinary, popular Hollywood films.
I think glorified is a very docile term you're using. We've rewarded it. we have, especially the male gaze of the way we write a films and we do a film, and it's quite pathetic, if you may ask me.
You talked about intellectual bankruptcy 10 years back. I don't think that we've progressed much since then.
I wouldn't like to say that it doesn't happen in the West and it happens only here. Especially, I think somehow culturally, the ones who get affected most are the North Indians. I still feel the rest of India has still kept the libido in kind of control.
So I'll tell you the way it happens. These are thoughts, radical thoughts that often cross my mind. Look at the kind of things that we depict. Like we showcase Karwa Chauth in a big way, right? It is one of the showcasing thing in many of these colorful, popular films. And when you see in real life, there's used to be a very popular brother-sister ceremony, Bhaiya Dooj, where the sister puts some tilak on brother's forehead. When I was growing up, I was seeing that my sisters are fasting till the time that happens, not us, the brothers. We see on the Karwa Chauth days that women are fasting, not the men. But I don't see any custom around us where men do some sacrifice for the women. So that is a construct that I see. So one is individual. I don't know when it will change, whether it will change or not, whether what I'm saying, is it blasphemy or not? I don't know.
I'm sure you're not a very popular guy.
Amongst men, definitely
amongst
not.
Men. I'm absolutely sure about that. And somebody is ready to hang you for your opinion. But you're not right. You're right and a half about that. And yes, a content which is, let's call it in the pulse space or the popular space or the literary space or the art space or entertainment, journalism needs, now we need to get global with it, I think. By saying global, I mean give everybody else in the world a run for their money. Our percentage is not even 5% of the global entertainment.
Well, I think
it is non-existent. The needle does not move.
It don't run to even 1%.
So here, I think all the market research should point towards that.
Because film has tremendous power. And I often give an example. we all have grown up with the film Sholay, right? I must have seen it the maximum number of times. While it is a creative liberty taken by the scriptwriter, but when Gabbar had said that Thakur Sahab ne hijro ka force banaya hai. Now, while there was a creative liberty taken in it, but I think that had stigmatized that society. We made us look down upon that society for decades to come. Nobody realized the effect of it, but I think that effect remains in the back of the mind.
Absolutely. Um, and not just that, there are many such examples of gender bias in our cinema. And that's a whole different conversation. I think we can go on speaking for days about it. And there's so much there boiling underneath the surface, and it's going to come out.
It is going to.
It's there. I'm waiting for, not waiting actually. Now I'm feeling the tremors. I think the moment we have filmmakers who come from small towns, you have a filmmaker who hasn't gone to New York Film School or USC, but has come from Asansol, from Nazafgarh, from Raipur. Uh, I think you got a shot in the arm with the platforms, with the OTT platforms. And some of the shows we can be really proud of. You see a show like Kora or Tabbar or Delhi Crimes or
Panchayat, which we are talking about a
yeah,
small town.
Yeah, and Jamtara and Kala Pani now. These are the shows I binge watch, and uh, might not be the best in the world, but with the resources they are made on, they're at par with the world. Unfortunately, that's not happening to cinema.
So, what ails it? Where there's enough money, there was enough business. It's the largest spoken. Almost 50% of the country speaks Hindi. Now we're falling back on the southern cinemas. So, what is ailing that industry?
First and foremost, we don't have enough screens to showcase. So we don't have people's theater. We have theaters for the rich.
Single screen. There are no more single screen. You only have multiplexes.
Even multiplex, even single screen, the price is too high for a ticket. You might say weekdays you can get a ticket for 200 rupees, but I don't think I think the government needs to step in a very proactive way and do a PPP kind of sorts, partnership. Public-private partnerships.
Yeah.
And we can create people's theater in every district, in every town, on the highways, touching the highways, where every village of India is connected. And today, because of the digital medium, you can download your film from the satellite. You don't need any other network. It can be theaters where your tickets are just 50 rupees.
See,
because the house help needs to go there. You don't need to sell hot dogs. The samosas and dosas and idlis are good enough. The same theaters can serve as educational hubs during the day, say up to 4 o'clock. It can be given to the village schools to do their dramas, their conferencing, their digital learning. But there's so much to be done. There can be a heart around it where the handicrafts can be sold.
What's your thought on AI? And how do you see AI and your next film, Karna? How much of that that you're going to adopt?
Okay, so I am not an authority on AI, but as a filmmaker, as a student of cinema, it is most fascinating and most terrifying at the same time. It is absolutely amazing. We are adopting AI for Karna. We are using certain tools. We are speaking to tech companies across the world. And we've already started testing because I want to understand that beast if I were to use it in the future. And I'm using it in my present film in a limited way. It is very liberating. It is extremely liberating. You can now you are now more limited by your imagination. So whether it's artificial intelligence or you will see a lot of storytelling in AR area, which is your augmented reality, and VR, which is virtual reality, there'll be a lot of experiential entertainment. There will be a lot of interactive entertainment. Uh, you will be in the film. You can be in the space.
Immersive experience.
Immersive, 100%. You can pause the film and choose whether if there were 4 roads to be taken.
So some of them had already made it.
Yeah, if I take a left, the story will change totally. And then you travel on that story and then you come back and say, okay, let me go right.
Go right and see the other way.
So it's going to be fascinating and years to come. Yeah.
Good to hear that. And Karna, are you going to produce it as well?
Co-producing it along with Excel, which is Rakeysh Sidwani and Farhan Akhtar. They are the senior producers. I'm the junior producer on the show, but I'm also the writer-director for the film.
So is it just a coincidence that whenever you're not the director and you're only the producer, particularly those films didn't do well? So
maybe the answer is I'm not a good producer.
And what does a good producer? Good producer will have to have a sense of business, right? He would like to know. He will be aware of what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, a good producer should should be able to recognize good ideas and support them, and then exploit them to the maximum.
So you're not good at that. You're saying you're good at creating something.
I once asked Mani sir, Mani Ratnam, we all call him Mani sir. I said, Mani sir, what's a mantra? And then, what shall I do? He says, if you want to tell the stories you want to tell, you'll have to produce them. So I started producing. All my films have been produced by me because rather than going to the studio and doing the rounds, you invest in the first 10 miles and then they'll join you for the next 90 miles. So you put in your money where your mouth is, you develop, you do a bit of it, you do a bit of testing.
You exhibit your confidence in your own work.
And then, and then it's easier to bring your take your idea across.
When you do the screening, when you go through the screening, as a creator or a producer, how accurately were you able to gauge that whether this film is going to do well commercially or not do well commercially, not do that well commercially?
There are tools, there are ways and means of doing it, but to say that I could gauge it accurately would be a false statement. So like in Rang De Basanti, I kept showing the film, and I kept hearing myself say there's something missing. And everybody's saying we're loving it, we're liking it, oh, nice film.
You're talking about the last scene as you changed the last scene.
And everybody kept saying, nobody could tell me what, I could feel it in the eyes, but so we were releasing on Jan 16th, which got pushed to 26 because of the Mick controversy. And I clearly remember on 24th or 25th of December, I got up in the morning and I told Bharti, who's also the producer of the film, my wife, I said, I know what's missing. These boys have lit the fire, but the fire hasn't spread. And I immediately called up Radhika Roy and I said, I need your support. I need all your vans all over the country. I want to shoot something and my film is releasing. She says, you have them. So one assistant went to Kolkata,
all over the country.
College Street. One went to Kashmir. I went to Bangalore. And I said, these students have taken over the radio station. What are your reaction? They saw a news van. They saw the NDTV van. They came up with their thoughts and I got it. And then it was very difficult to pacify them. I said, no, it's for a movie. They said, it does not matter. And they were and we got some real emotions. The footage came back within 3 days from 9 to 10 cities across India. I put it in the climax and the film was complete.
So you were inspired by Sundance Kid. I would say that something of that sort occurred to you, that similar way of depicting the end.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Sundance Kid, what I really liked was death was celebrated.
Death was celebrated.
And I didn't want it to show. I learned from there that this is a death to be celebrated. When we talk about Durga Bhabi or Chandrasekhar Azad or Jatin Das or Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, so we haven't seen their dead faces.
Yes.
We haven't been to their funeral.
Absolutely.
That's why that aura becomes.
They remain alive.
Yeah, they are alive. So, yeah.
So Karna, are you by any chance worried about that so-called, the new term being coined, cancel culture?
So there are two things out here. One is the cancel culture.
Yeah.
Any which way, I'm not worried about that. So if you you tell a story with a fierce psychosis, you're going to spoil it anyway and you're going to misinterpret it. Kanna is a great character. Yes, he's a tragic hero. Mothers name their kids Karna even today. In fact, I'm blessed that I'm chosen to make that film. And I hope everything goes well.
Everything will go well. Thank you very much, Rakeysh, for being on Duologue. It's a great experience chatting with you and learning so much from you. And all the best for your upcoming, all the projects, Karna and beyond. I have a small gift for you. This is a pen, so nice, which is for you. And all the Duologue guys, they write something for me in this book. If you could pen down a few of your thoughts in this.
But before that, I have a return gift for you.
Okay.
So this is a collector's vinyl of Bhaag Milkha Bhaag.
Wow.
This is same for Rang De Basanti. And that's something like an autobiography.
I would definitely. You're possibly too early to write an autobiography because you're still good.
I was wanting to call it Interval. Ki film abhi baki hai.
Okay.
But,
yes, definitely.
My co-writer called it A Stranger in the Mirror.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you.